What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you are a first timer, then welcome to the channel. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2023. This is our weekly swing list for the first week of 2023, January 3rd. The week of January 3rd. It's a short week. It's only 4 days. Guys, I put these videos out for you guys every single week. I send out a daily watch list every single day. I do monthly swings, quarterly swings, and a yearly video that's going to be coming out as well. So thank you guys for joining me today. If you find this information helpful, make sure you end up subscribing to that channel and clicking on that bell so you get the notifications. That's what the bell does. Gives you notifications for when I send these videos out to you guys, and you can join in on with us on these charts. I want to get started real quick. I want to go through a couple things. This screen that you see here, if you're new to trading, you're going to need something like this. It's how I chart all my trades. It's how I decide where to put triggers, where to put targets, what trades I'm looking at. I have a link in the description below. That link will give you a free 30-day trial to TradingView. There's no obligation. You get to try it out for free, one of their subscription-based services, for free, 30 days. If you decide to actually use that sub-service, you get up to $30 off of that subscription, but you need to start by clicking on that link. So make sure you take advantage of that free offer. I also have a trading Discord. So again, if you guys have questions, you can leave them down below. I'm on Twitter at Mr. Clark Griswold, or join the Discord. That link is in the description below. And everything that I offer to you guys, free or fee-based, can be found in that Discord. So 95% of it's free. There's a ton of free rooms, a ton of free information on there. 5% of it approximately is for the Griswold Gold members. How do you get a Griswold Gold membership? Well, you pay $50 a month, or you pay for 2 months and you get that third month free, and it gives you a ton of great value. There's a 1-hour strat course to teach you this strategy right from the beginning to the end on how to trade this strategy and what we do here. There's live trading bots that give you live setups on ticker symbols like SPY, QQQ, DIA, Disney, and a bunch of other ones, Tesla. There is the top 5s from these watch lists. Those go to the Griswold Gold members, and a bunch of other really, really great stuff in there. One-on-ones with myself. If you guys want to really immerse yourself in this and have some one-on-one time with me, ask me questions. I will answer them for you, and we can go through there. And all that stuff can be purchased separately as well, but it's better to get it as the package. Let's get started on this list. The first one we've got on the list here, guys, is American Airlines. So you'll notice the 2 pink lines. That's how I chart my weekly setups. And you might notice some blue lines. Those are the monthly setups. The yellow lines are the daily setups. And the orange lines are going to be the yearly setups. So the yearly video, if it's not out already, it will be very soon. Let's get started with the weekly swings for January 3rd. Short week at just 4 days. And the thing we have to remember here on this, so this time frame continuity, part of the indicator I create on TradingView for you guys, has all the indicators wrapped up into one, all the strat indicators wrapped up into one. The candlestick numbers, the bar coloring of white outside bars, yellow inside bars, time frame continuity, 50% rule, all that kind of stuff wrapped into one indicator. So, like I said, the thing we have to remember, when we open up on Tuesday, every single one of these hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly time frames are all brand new candles. They're all brand new candles. So if we trend up, they're all going to be green. If we trend down, they're all going to be red. But let's talk about what we've got here first on American Airlines. Inside bar, can we call that a hammer candle? Sure. A hammer candle is an actionable signal. An inside bar, which we have here, doesn't break the high or the low of the previous candle. That's an actionable signal. And a shooter candle, or an inverse hammer, where this body is down below and the long wick is up at the top, that's also an actionable signal. So right now we've got the inside bar and we've got what we call a hammer candle. So when we look at inside bars, guys, not breaking the high or the low, and we see that this is a yellow candle, we look for one thing here, okay? When we get inside bars, we look for, I want you guys to think of that yellow bar as a spring, or it's a tightening range, it's getting compacted, squished, almost like a diving board. When you put that pressure on that diving board and you release it, you're looking for a big, big jump, and that's what we look for on the inside bars, a big jump in one direction or the other, to the upside or the downside. And we can go back and look at previous inside bars, and we can see the probability is what we're looking for is that big range, and usually we get it. Here's one for an example. We got a good winning trade out of this. Here's another one. we triggered, and we got a good winning trade out of it. Here's another one, went outside bar, but we opened and came all the way up to here. So probabilities tell us that yes, we have a very good opportunity and chance to make profit off of inside bars. Here's another one. We triggered and we didn't quite hit targets, but we had a nice run off of that week. So that's what we look for. And when we have probabilities, guys, that's what every strategy is based off of. This one, or if you're looking at like EMA lines crossing or whatever you're looking at, they're all based off of probability. And the reason is because nobody knows when this next candle right here, when this candle opens up, no one knows if it's going to do this. No one knows if it's going to do this. No one knows if it's going to stay here. No one knows if it's going to end up doing this and going outside bar. Nobody knows. And that's why it's based off of probabilities. We know what it should do, or the probabilities of what it should do, but if it doesn't do that, how good are you at managing that trade? And that's how you're going to become a good trader. And that's what we teach here in all the review videos. That's what we teach, is how to manage the trades. We let our winners run and we cut our losers quick. Okay? So inside bar in American Airlines, we're going to look for calls at 1283, puts at 1225, and I'm just going to put these green lines in here for this example. That's yellow. We'll make it green. That's going to be your target to the top side. That's going to be your first target to the bottom side. Now we can hit multiple targets, but those are the targets on that setup. You guys can mark those out for yourselves. I don't put targets on the weekly. I usually only have them on the dailies. But that's where our targets are. So that's where we're looking for this thing to hit. If you don't want to trade options and you're trading common shares, I would only trade it to the upside. I would not trade it to the downside. So if we trend up, you can look to buy this thing at 1283 once we cross that line, and you can look for targets at 1323. It's a good way to practice. If you don't want to paper trade and you actually want to use real money, use common shares, just the share of the stock. And that's the easiest way to learn this strategy. With losing, trying to lose the least amount of money. Now, your goal as a trader is to preserve your capital, not get as many wins as you can, but keep all of your losses as small as you can, and that will grow your account. Because the wins that you get if you follow the strategy will far outweigh the losses. So Airbnb now, 2 down, finish green. So we broke the bottom side, but we finished green. We have a hammer candle, and when we finish green, that's what we want to call a failed 2. And we're looking for a 2-2 reversal here. So 2 down, 2 up reversal. We're going to look for a trigger at 8606 and a first target at the top of that candle. We'll move into Adobe, ADBE. Adobe has a double inside bar. So we talked about those single inside bars, and I'm going to show you with this. Basically, this is what we're looking at when we have inside bars. So you know that we have the consolidation for a day. Now we have consolidation for 2 straight days. And what this does, it's basically a reverse broadening formation or an inverse broadening formation where we get this tightening range here. And this is our spring getting squeezed, tightened, 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 tightened. And we're looking for it to break outside of that spring. Okay? So normally when we have a double inside bar, you get a really, really nice move. And we can go back in time. You notice this blue highlight? That's also part of the indicator I created for you guys. They don't happen very often. So let's go back. We have to go all the way back to April of 21. There's that double inside bar. I'll zoom in for this for you guys so you can see this. It doesn't always happen, but this is the probability. This is what we look for, right? Triggered off of the bottom. We hit target 1, 2, 3, and didn't hit that 4th target. But this was a fantastic run. And if you booked it for 2 weeks, we ran down for 2 straight weeks. This was a fantastic play off of that double inside bar. And we're going to look for the same thing on Adobe this week, okay? Double inside bar. We're going to look for calls at 339.50. We're going to look for puts if we trigger to the downside at 327.19. Now remember, I talked to you guys about those blue lines. That's the trigger for the monthly. Here's our triggers for the daily, also an inside bar. So we're looking for a trigger off the daily, which would trigger the weekly, which would trigger the monthly. And here's our quarterly way up here. So that's also something to pay attention to. AFRM inside bar on Affirm Holdings. Again, also an inside bar on the daily, represented by those two yellow lines. So if I go to the daily chart, and we talked about this in the daily watch list video, if we trigger on the daily and hit first targets, we've also triggered 2 up on the week. So something to look for. If we trigger the daily, it's very likely we trigger on the weekly as well, so pay attention to that. There's a bunch of those setups on this weekly chart. AMD, 2 down green hammer candle. So we talked about the hammer candles being an actionable signal, a bullish pattern. Okay, inside bar on the daily, and we're looking to go 2 up on the weekly, a 2-2 reversal. So we'll see how AMD works for that with a trigger at $65.18. We move on to BA, and if you guys look on the side here, these little blue tabs tell me that we also have a setup on the daily. Okay, that's what that's telling me. So BA, Boeing, I saw some people talking about this on Twitter because of the yearly. Okay, so if we go to the yearly, it's got a hammer candle. And I know it's hard to see because these white lines are on here, but let's take those off. And that's that big hammer candle setup that they were talking about. Let's take those off. And there we have it. So a 1-2-2 rev strat is what they would be looking for on the monthly. Again, we'll go over that in the monthly, or sorry, on the yearly. We'll go over that on the yearly video. So BA on the weekly, inside bar, we're going to look for calls at 192.44, puts at 186.19. We'll see how this thing trends as we go into the new year on Boeing. CAT. So CAT's not something I usually put on the daily, but I will do it on the weekly. CAT has a 2 up that finished red. We're going to look for puts at 237.70. This is not something that I would look for if you were trading common shares. I wouldn't ask you to short anything. Here's one of those double inside bars, guys. Trigger, target, and target. Okay, 2 targets. A fantastic trade on CAT. Let's move on to CCL. That's Carnival Cruise Lines. Carnival Cruise Lines is part of our live trading bot system. Inside bar on CCL, so we can look for calls at 822, puts at 755 off of this inside bar setup on Carnival Cruise Lines on the weekly. We move on to CL, that's Colgate Palmolive, 2 up, finished red. We can look for puts at 78.21. There is the quarterly mark here as well. We could trigger to the upside on the 3-month chart on CL. Cisco, there's that blue tab I was telling you guys about, also a setup on the daily. So we have an inside bar. And can you call it a hammer? It's pretty close. I'd like to see a little bit more body there. But we're going to look for calls at 47.77. There's the number on the right I'm calling out in bank. Or puts at 46.95. Now if we trend down, the first target on the weekly is the trigger to go 2 down on the month. To go up, there's our trigger there. We're also looking to go 2 up on the daily. That's what that yellow line represents there, as well as the blue box that I pointed out earlier. Datadog, DDOG, 2 down, finish green, hammer candle. We'll look for calls at 74.18, also an inside bar. So I know there's an inside bar because I marked it out with 2 pink lines. I also have this yellow circle as part of my indicator. Tells me there's an inside bar on the daily. Also tells me there's an inside bar on the monthly, as do these 2 blue lines here. Okay, that's Datadog. DIA, the diamonds, part of our live trading bot as well, with an inside bar. Calls at 332.82, puts at 328.35. We'll move into DocuSign. DocuSign has a 2 down green. We can look for calls at 55.87. Let's zoom in so you guys can see that a little better. 55.87. We also have an inside bar on the daily, yellow circle, 2 yellow lines. So if we trigger the daily, we are going to likely trigger the weekly to go 2 up. And this is a 1-2 down, 2 up rev strat. 1-2-2 rev strat. Ford Motor Company, 2 down green, hammer candle. We'll look for calls at 11.64. Inside bar on the quarterly, yellow circle, 2 purple lines. We're also looking to go 2 down on the yearly. If I go to the yearly, 12-month chart, we're a 2 up red in 2022. We're going to see if we can trigger this to the downside and hit targets at 843. That will be in our yearly review video. So that is Ford. Move on to Home Depot. Home Depot with that inside bar, so calls at 321.83, puts at 313.02. Excuse me, there's our trigger to the downside. Our first target is a trigger for the monthly, so domino effect again happening all over the place. IBM inside bar, calls at 142.81, puts at 139.45 on IBM. Also have a play on the daily there. Triggers the yellow line, target, and target. Coca-Cola, ticker symbol KO, 2 up red. We're going to look for puts on this thing. On Coca-Cola at 63.17, and it's a 2 up, 2 down Rev Strat is what we're looking at. Lucid LCID has a hammer candle, 2 down, finish green, failed 2. We're going to look for calls at $6.90. We also have an inside bar on the daily, so we trigger up on the daily. We are also triggering the weekly, most likely. Lowe's inside bar. On Lowe's, we'll look for calls at 203.99, puts at 197.21, and we have the 2 blue lines. Inside bar, yellow indicator. We can look to break out of that on the monthly as well in January. Lululemon, inside bar as well on Lulu. And again, there's lots of inside bars on the daily. There's a ton on the weekly. And that is because the last week of December, low volume, low amount of participants due to the holiday season. We're looking to see if it gets ramped up. And now, don't be overly excited to jump in this Tuesday, guys, because I'm not sure. I would expect an influx of buying and selling as people are back to trading, back to work, back to in their normal routine. So we might see an influx of volume on that very first day, but I would still be very cautious. If you get some gains, make sure you guys are taking them, whether it's a daily trade or a swing trade. We'll move into M. That's Macy's, ticker symbol M with an inside bar. We can call that a hammer as well. We'll look for calls at 20.86, puts at 19.73. We'll move on to Monster. Not something I normally look at, but Monster's got this double inside bar that we talked about. So that tightening range. Calls at 102.73, puts at $100.69. And guys, here's the thing. Most times if I've got, like, the top 5s aren't given out on here. They're part of this list that I give out, but they're not given out to the YouTube channel. They're part of the Griswold Gold membership. But I will tell you this. If you're looking for top 5s, they're the double inside bars. They're the triple inside bars like we have on the daily for Alibaba. Go check that out. 3 straight days of consolidation. Those type of plays are usually on the top 5. So inside bar on Microsoft, Mr. Softy, as Rob Smith would call it. Look for calls at 241.92, puts at 234.17 on Mr. Softy. We go on to MU, that's Micron Technologies, inside bar again. Like we talked about, there's a lot of them. We can look for calls at 51.09, puts at 48.52. We're also looking to go 2 up on the daily with that yellow trigger. Sorry, that is not correct. If I go to the daily, I want to confuse you guys. Let's take those out because it's going to confuse me too. Most times if there's a daily setup, like I said, you'll see a little blue flag here, like you do on Microsoft. So Netflix has a daily setup. We've got this 2 down, finish green, hammer candle on Netflix. We're going to look for calls at 295.50. We also have an inside bar on the daily we'll look to trigger as well on Netflix. Nike, inside bar, actually a 3-1 setup. So calls at 118.24, puts at 114.96. You see this yellow golden highlight? Well, that's part of my indicator as well. Here's a double inside bar again. You can see the magnitude that it has. Triggers and runs up for 3-4 days, 5 days really, before it cancels out. This 3-1 setup, like I said, went double inside bar. Here's the next 3-1 back in, looks like January. 3-1, boom. That's the move we're looking for. Okay, that's what we like to see. High probability setups. Okay, but if it goes against probability, what are we doing to mitigate our losses, our risk? How do you manage your risk? Okay, inside bar on Pfizer. We'll look for calls at 51.93, puts at 50.75 on PFE. Procter & Gamble, 2 up red, 1-2-2 rev strat is what we call that, and the top of a broadening formation. So puts at 150.44. Is Procter & Gamble going to come down? Broadening formation. Look, higher highs to higher highs, higher highs. Lower lows, all the way down. You can see that trend. High to low to high to low, back up to the highs. Are we going to continue to trend up and hit the top of a larger broadening formation? That's here. Higher highs to lower lows, back up to higher highs potentially. We'll see how that plays out, okay? As for now, we're looking at a 1-2-2 rev strat. 1, 2 up, 2 down, rev strat on Procter & Gamble. 2 down, finish green on Palantir. We also have a inside bar on the daily. So we're going to look for calls at 653 on that weekly setup on PLTR. Plug Power, guys, if you like this stuff, make sure you give me a thumbs up. And again, make sure you're subscribed if you find the information useful. We are going to teach you how to become a better trader here, not just with these watch list videos, but over the 350 videos that I have on this channel that teach you guys how to trade this strategy. Okay, Plug Power, 2 down green, hammer candle. This is a nice looking hammer candle. We'll see if it comes to fruition. We'll see if we can take calls at 1242. A lot of magnitude back up to that upside. And again, we're at the bottom of a broadening formation. And if we can go out as far as we want, lows, lows, and lows. 3 lows set up there. And we've got higher highs all over here. Higher highs, higher highs, higher highs here. So anyway, which way you want to follow it. High to low to high to low to high to low. We'll see if we can trend back up on Plug Power. Next one we've got up is SE, that's C Limited. 2 down, finish green. Let's zoom in so we can see that way better. We're going to look for calls on this at 53.16 on SE. Move on to Shopify, SHOP. Shop, 2 down, green. We're going to look for calls on this one, 35.13. We also have a inside bar on the daily. That is a Shopify setup. SPY. Well, SPY, the inside bar on the weekly, so we'll look for calls at 384.35, puts at 376.42, and we also have a monthly trigger here. Okay, that's that blue line. If we go to the month, there we have it. 2 up, finish red. We're going to look to go 2 up, 2 down reversal on SPY on the monthly there. But we'll head back to the weekly for Tesla. Also part of the live trade bot system that I have on the Discord. 2 down green. I'll give you a hammer candle there. We'll look for calls at 124.48. Good magnitude to the upside of this top candle. We'll see. Has Tesla got more room to come down, or is it done? We'll see what happens to start the year off on Tesla. And WFC, Wells Fargo, inside bar. We'll call that a hammer candle as well. We're going to look for calls at 41.43, puts at $40.61. Guys, make sure you're following me on Twitter at Mr. Clark Griswold. Subscribe down below. Give me a thumbs up. Get it on that Discord. The link is in the description below. Join the Discord. Learn and earn together. Let's have a fantastic 2023, and make sure you take advantage of that free offer from TradingView. Good luck, guys, this week. I wish you nothing but the best, and we will see you all on the next one. Bye-bye.